Hi everyone, it's Vicky here from Crafty Home. Thank you very much for joining me today. And today I'm going to be showing you how you can make a fabric A4 notebook. So this is what I had come up with, and I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I wish I could keep this for myself, but this is actually going out for a swap in a few weeks. And yeah, I was really pleased with the finished result. So as you can see, it's shabby chic, and I've gone quite over the top with the decoration on the front of the book, but actually inside is very plain because I didn't want to embellish it too much and look a bit OTT. So this is what the front cover looks like, and I just decorated it with some beautiful journaling cards that I got from a lady over at Artymaze. I think she's on Etsy. And I've just made my book out of different fabrics that I have been given or I've brought. And then I will show you the inside. So like I said, I have left it quite plain. You could add pockets if you wish, but that's what I did for the stick pin fabric book that I made. I did add pockets to that, but I just wanted to leave this quite plain. And then we have the A4 paper, and this is actually A3 size paper, just folded in half, and then I've sewed it into my cover. Then I've just added some lace just to finish that centerpiece off, and then this is the back cover. So I hope you enjoy today's tutorial, and yeah, let's get started on how to make your very own fabric A4 notebook. So to make this project, I have two pieces of fabric, and the first one is this one, and I got this given to me in a swap. And then I have some lining. This is just fabric from the pound shop. I'm going to put the two pieces of fabric together, and I'm going to place the right side up. Okay, so we're going to sew them together the wrong way round, if that makes sense. So then when we sewed it, we could turn it inside out, and then the fabric is going to be on the outside of what would be our cover. So to get my measurement of my fabric, and I just laid two pieces of copy paper onto my fabric. I laid them next to each other, and then I left about an inch border around my paper. So then I've got about an inch, leeway to sew around my fabric. So all I'm going to do now is sew my two pieces of fabric together, and I am using red cotton because I want to pick out the red that's in that fabric. Okay, and this is just so simple to make. On my sewing machine, I've got measurements on here where you can line up your edge of your fabric. And because I left about a 1 inch gap all the way around, I'm going to line up the edge of my fabric at the 3/4 inch mark. So then that way I know that I'm following that 3¼ inch mark all the way around, and my sewing should technically be straight. But if not, then it doesn't matter. So quite simple really. We're just going to do a straight stitch all the way around. You also want to leave a big enough gap to be able to turn your fabric inside out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start sewing this together. Okay, so now I've done that and sewed it together, I've gone ahead and just trimmed off my corners at an angle to make sure that when you turn your fabric back to the right way, it's going to give you that nice corner. Okay, So before I turn it inside out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to my iron. I'm actually going to iron these seams open so that when I turn my fabric inside out, the lining should all, line up together basically. And then I will press it all out with my iron just to get the creases out. And then I will be back and show you what to do next. So what we're going to do now is you see the opening here where we turned our fabric inside out. I've just tucked that in, and now I'm just going to simply do a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch. I'm not entirely sure which one I want to do. I might do a straight stitch just because it's easier. I'm going to do a straight stitch all the way around the outside of my fabric, and if you make a bodge up on the inside here, then it doesn't matter because we can cover it with lace. Because I'm not a great sewer, so I'm still new to this, so sometimes my sewing can be a bit off, and I just cover it with lace and then no one will know. As long as it looks good on the outside, I'm not bothered. So we're just going to simply close that hole up by just doing a straight stitch all the way around our cover. So I'm going to bring my sewing machine back in. Try and get as close to the edge as possible, not too far over, but just enough to be able to make sure that this bit here where the opening is nice and sealed. So I've done that straight stitch now, and I have my plain paper here, and for this I'm actually using this watercoloured paper that I picked up from the range in the art section, and it's A3 and it's quite a thick card. Okay, so I've got 10 sheets here. Okay, so what I've done is I've found the centre of my cover and laid all 10 sheets onto my inside cover, and then I've just clipped it with some pegs, and I've put a needle here in the centre so then I can see where I need to stitch. Now I'm actually really nervous about this bit because obviously this is quite thick card, and if I could have got my hands on A3 copy paper then that would have been better. But because I don't have that on hand, I'm using what I have, and so I'm hoping that this will go through this sewing machine. If not, I may have to go back and use my old Singer sewing machine, which is really good at going through quite thick pieces of paper or fabric or whatever. So fingers crossed that this will work and my needle won't snap. So all I'm simply going to do is I'm going to run a few stitches down the centre, okay, and if need be I might have to go and turn this over and sew on the outside just so it will all stay in place. If you're not confident about going through the sewing machine, then you could punch some holes and just hand sew it yourself. So we'll just have to see how this goes, okay? So I'm going to get my sewing machine and fingers crossed that this works. Yay, it did it. It didn't break, thank goodness for that. So I did a couple of stitches down the middle, and I actually just covered it up with some lace just to make it look more finished. And yeah, and that is just simply it really. And then obviously you can add some ribbon to keep it closed. You could also add pockets, which is probably what I might do. I'm not sure yet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to go ahead and decorate my notebook, and then I'll be back at the end of the video to show you the finished project. So there we go, that is the finished book, and as you can see I've decorated the front and I've gone quite over the top with decorating it. So what I've done is I've left the inside covers plain. I've just, you know, I've not decorated them at all. So as you can see, I've added different lace trims, some appliques, and then I've got this beautiful lace bow that I added this diamante in the middle. Then I've got these gorgeous journaling cards and these butterflies and this label at the top here that says this book belongs to, and then whoever I swap with I can put their name on there. And then we have the butterflies down here as well. I backed the journaling card with some hessian fabric and I just frayed the edges. And then to keep the book closed, again I've used the fabric and frayed that as well. So these journaling cards were from a company called Artymaze, and I've never heard of them before until I saw that Scrimping Mummy was a design team member for this lady. So I checked out her, I think it's Etsy she's on, and she sells digital journaling kits that you can buy and then obviously download that kit, and then you can print it off as much as you want. And I noticed that they were having there was letting people have some freebies. So there was certain journaling cards, backing papers, tags, in a different variety of designs that she has from the kits that she's selling. And I think that is a great idea for, especially for new people that's not gone to her store before, can have a taster of what her kits are like. And these were free, and like I said, I just downloaded them, printed them on copy paper, and then I just backed them onto some thick cardstock. And as you can see, they are absolutely beautiful. And I will certainly be buying kits from that company in the near future because I think they're just beautiful. So I'll leave the link in the video description bar if you want to go and check out Artymaze Etsy shop. Like I said, I've never heard of them before, so yeah, I think it's gorgeous. And then on the back it looks like this, and like I said, inside I've just left the inside covers plain just because it's quite busy on the outside, and in the center of my papers I've just added some lace just to finish that off. So you could add pockets here if you wish and fill it with goodies. That's what I did for that pin book that I had made, but for this I just wanted it to be, you know, left quite plain. So there we go guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial of this A4 notebook, and give it a go. And if you like this project, then give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.